Great. Hey everyone, welcome back to Ameta Academy Friday Lives. Today we're talking about the AIBASE 4x 4 megapixel PTZ Full Color IP Dome. I know it's a long name. Now this is not a big long range PTZ. I know people hear PTZ and they think it's a big camera that you see outside of the buildings most of the time. No, it's not that. This is a smaller, compact PTZ, not designed for large industrial yard or massive perimeters. It's designed for everyday security projects where a fixed camera feels too limited, but a large PTZ is overkill. So today we'll cover the technology behind this product, the specs of the AIBASE 4x PTZ Dome, real installer projects that have been done by our installer partners and that you also can do with this camera, tips for installing and pitching this camera to your customer so that they can benefit the most out of this camera, and then we'll show you in the end what's coming next for this camera. Okay? Got it? Get it? So let's get into it. Next slide. Okay, so let's first start with the basic. And the basic with any camera is the technology behind it, right? So I'm going to, in fact, start a step back. I'm going to start with what a PTZ means. Now, not to say you guys don't know this beforehand, but I just still want to make sure that every one of our partners are attending this webinar know what a PTZ is. So PTZ means pan, tilt, zoom. So pan meaning it can move sideways, tilt, it can move up and down, and zoom, it can zoom in, optical zoom. But for this particular camera, the PTZ function is not so much the feature I want to highlight, it's the flexibility. Because the PTZ, although the PTZ function is there, like I said, it's not designed to be just a PTZ. It's kind of like a hybrid of a PTZ with the flexibility of a dome design. So the flexibility is the feature that I want to highlight with this particular camera model. Now with a fixed dome, you know, if it doesn't have the PTZ function, it's like any other static normal camera where you choose the view where you want to look at, you based on that requirement from the customer, you install it at a certain height, and that's basically it. It's there, it sees a fixed view, and that's about it. But with this compact PTZ dome, it functions like a dome. So it is a small camera that you can install on the ceiling, what have you. But because of the PTZ, you can pan, tilt, and zoom with presets. So if the customer has certain requirements as to where they want to see, and then want the flexibility, to move stuff from their view from one position to another, this camera can do that. So that's what I'm talking about, the hybrid nature of this camera, the PTZ function and the design, the sleekness, and the small I would say shape of this camera. So if you pair that, if you pair those two functions of PTZ and the dome design, it gives you a very flexible camera that gives customers, your customers, and the eventual end user of this product, more control over the scene. Okay, and if you, on top of this PTZ functionality, if you add full color, low light imaging, warm light, IR, built-in audio response, and an ability to connect external speaker system as well, although the camera itself has built-in microphone and speaker. It fits really well. So when all these features are bundled in together into this camera, the package becomes very valuable for any smaller commercial environment. Okay, so guys, this camera is all about practical movement and better control, and giving you the flexibility of having the ability to use the PTZ function in a smaller package. Just be careful. This is not the traditional PTZ, which gives you the option to have long distance surveillance. This is not that. For those models we talked about in our previous webinar, probably we'll talk about it in our future webinars as well. We have other options like a 25x PTZ and a 37x PTZ and a dual lens PTZ. But that's not this. It gives you the PTZ with the ability to have it indoors. Okay. All right. Next slide. So now that we have talked about in general about PTZ domes, let's bring it back to the AI-based model that I have it here for you. So this AI-based 4x PTZ dome has a 4 megapixel resolution camera, which is built around a 1/1.8 inch progressive CMOS sensor. The lens is a 2.8 to 12 millimeter motorized lens, giving you the 4x optical zoom. So what does that mean? So that means when it's fully zoomed out, you get a horizontal view of around 114 degrees. And when it's fully zoomed in, you get a view about 48 degrees. So you can go from a wider overview to a tighter view by adjusting the lens and zooming in and zooming out. And then you can do that zooming in and zooming out through your app or our web VMS or our regular desktop VMS or the camera's web page itself. And then this camera also has full color LED built into that. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but like it has 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 on the sides and 1 in the front and 1 in the back. LEDs for full color, 24/7 full color imaging. The color sensitivity is down to 0.001 lux at f1.6. That means in low light conditions, it will still give you very bright daylight image. But it also has IR. When it gets really dark, obviously the IR would kick in and it would give you the image details in black and white, but it'll still give you the view. And then the light, the warm light that we talked about, supports up to 20 meters or 65 feet distance to give you that color image view. Okay. It has a built-in microphone, built-in speaker, ability to connect an external speaker if you want higher volume, and the speaker on the camera itself is not enough, although there are very rare cases when you would need to do that. But we have that option. So this camera gives you those external connections to do that. And we also have speakers that pair with this camera, the AI-based audio speakers, all kinds. We have the horn, we have the ceiling mount, we have the wall mount. So if it's indoors, for example, for this camera, as we talked about, it'll be more like in office environments or retail applications. You will have this camera, and if you want to have a speaker connected to it, you can have those ceiling mount speakers that sit really flush with the ceiling, or wall mount if you want, if the customer chooses to have something on the wall. So those fancy retail store speakers, we have them too under AIBASE that connect really well to this camera. Okay, and then IK10 impact protection. So it has the dome, which is rated for IK10 impact. So vandalism obviously is a problem with cameras, but this obviously is protected through our IK10 offering on this camera. And most importantly, this camera, like every other AI-based camera, is NDAA compliant. So you can use this camera without worry for any private, commercial, or government project. Okay. So guys, the story here is, as we've been talking about, compact size, flexible view, full color imaging, built-in audio, ability to connect external audio, and smart event capability. Next slide, B, please. So what do I mean by smart event capability? I mean, we've been talking about the PTZ function of this camera, right? The ability to zoom in through the lens, but this is not just this camera. This AI-based 4x PTZ dome is not just about moving the lens. It also has a very strong set of AI event features. You know, I'm gonna go on the side on a tangent here. People ask me, why do we name it AIBASE, our brand? It's because most of our cameras in this portfolio under AIBASE have an AI, advanced AI built into the camera, Edge AI. So the camera itself comes with those AI models built into it, which you can use. Even if you have the camera without our NVR, standalone with an SD card, you can use those AI features. And because we have all the cameras offering those AI, we named it AIBASE. So it's obvious to everyone that's using this camera that this is the most latest and advanced cutting-edge surveillance technology in your hands. Hence AIBASE. Okay, let's bring it back to this camera. So what do we have when we talk about AIBASE? AI features in this AIBASE camera? We have face recognition, human and vehicle detection, perimeter intrusion detection, line crossing detection, stationary object detection, and that's where it gets to now get into like more sophisticated AI, like cross counting, heat map, crowd density detection, queue length, so the length of the line outside of retail stores, it can detect that, and also license plate detection. Now, when I say license plate detection, I do want to qualify it by saying, like, if this is not your LPR, so this is not going to do a 45 miles to 65 miles, capture for a plate capture for a car going at 45 miles to 65 miles an hour. No, we have dedicated LPR cameras for that, and we did a Friday live show on that too. And probably as we have more models coming in, we'll do another feature on that. But if you have it outside and the car is in a parking lot moving at 5 miles or less, it can capture plate if you want to. We don't recommend it as a license plate camera, but if you have it and it's in a parking situation where the car is moving under 5 miles an hour, you can actually use this to capture the plate as well. So you see a lot of AI features into the camera, hence the name AIBASE. That gives, okay, so what does it mean? What does it mean? So PTZ and AI put together in this camera, how does it help installers and integrator partners? So it gives you a lot of ways to tailor the camera to the application. You can, depending on the need of the project and the requirement from your customer, the end user, you can pitch them the PTZ AI as a combo or one or the other. Right? So there's a lot of application, and we'll get into that. As we get into this presentation, you'll see I'm going to talk about some real life projects that have been done by our installer partners, as I mentioned at the top of my presentation, the top of this webinar, that we're going to be like talking about those use cases. So before I get into that, I do want to highlight something, and I want to make it very clear so that you guys are also have a clear understanding of this. This model, specific model that we're talking about, current model, does not offer auto tracking. Now, so PTZ, generally people when they talk about PTZ, they think auto tracking is kind of like a feature that comes in. But like I said, this is not your traditional PTZ. It's a hybrid camera where Dome and PTZ have been combined together. So this model in particular right now does not have auto tracking. But there's something that we're working on, and I'll talk about it in just a moment. I don't want to spoil the fun right now, but bottom line, this does not have auto tracking, just PTZ. Okay, so please position this correctly and know that this does not have auto tracking. But what it does have is the PTZ with presets, full color imaging, AI detection, active response features, and a dome sleek design with IK10 rating. Okay, that's what it has. So let's use this for what it offers, right? So please do not oversell it as auto tracking. Sell it for what it is: flexible viewing, presets, AI detection, and compact active response. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we've been talking about the real life application. Let's talk about them, right? So where does it fit in the real projects? I have a few examples. First example is retail storefronts and entrances. We have had installer partners install this camera into retail stores in different environments. We have had partners install it at an H&M store inside a mall, but we have also had this installed on a bike shop outside of a mall, on the side, on a commercial street, on a sidewalk. So really flexible. You can use it in any environment. in a retail environment. And what happened was, like in this case, they wanted to have the camera at the entrance of the store so they could have a flexible view of their entrance. And especially for the case of the sidewalk project that I talked about, they wanted to also see what's happening on the sidewalk. So the front facing zone of the store and also sidewalk side to side, right? But they didn't want to have multiple cameras to do that. So what they did was they installed this camera at the front of the front of the store, the front door, and then they had a view, obviously looking at the entrance of the door, but they were also able to move it side to side so they can see who's coming in from right or the left side of the store on the sidewalk. And they were able to do it with just one camera, and presets were a lifesaver for them. So that's a very good application. The second is a smaller parking lot. So don't think of a Walmart or a Costco big parking lot. For those, you require a 25x or a 37x AI-based PTZ. I'm talking about like smaller lots, very small, next to a small, let's say, mom and pop shop or a small business where they have a few cars parking spot, like let's say 5 to 10 cars parking spot. You can use this camera there instead of a fixed camera, because the fixed camera in a parking lot is limited, right? Either you have to have multiple cameras, or if you have one camera, you're limited to just one view. But this way, you can have one camera and move it around 360 degrees, right? PTZ, almost 360. Okay. And the third and the last case I want to talk about, which is more popular, is office environments. So like entrance of an office building, like the retail store, or a lobby in an office, big lobby. So lobbies are big areas. Generally, if you want to cover the entire lobby, you would want to use multiple cameras. But most of the time, customers do not want that. They want minimal design in their office. So this PTZ can achieve that. So you cannot install a big PTZ because it's an overkill inside an office building. It's ugly, to be honest. So, and you don't want a lot of cameras because the customer wants cleaner look to their building. So you install this camera in the lobby, and because it is a PTZ, it can zoom in, zoom out, and it can pan and tilt. It can cover the entire lobby and look very minimal and intrusive in the lobby area. So we had partners do a lot of projects in the office buildings too, because with the presets of different views, entrance, reception, waiting area, hallway, your customer have more control with just one camera, as we talked about, right? So these are the three big examples of the projects that have been done with this camera where we think this camera fits in really well. But obviously, it's not just limited to these projects. You can obviously, depending on the use case and the project you have, I leave it to your imagination to think about all the application that you can think of when it comes to using this camera. Okay, the sweet spot is really with this camera is that smaller commercial. Okay, let me be a bit more clear. The sweet spot for this camera and its application is in smaller commercial areas where fixed cameras are too static, but large PTZ cameras are too much, right? That's the sweet spot. And you can see that in our examples. We chose those examples which hit that sweet spot. But I don't want to box it to these applications only. You can, like I said, depending on the project, your need, and your creativity, you can use this camera for your project and your use case. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so we talked about the technology, we talked about this model, we talked about the application, we talked about how this would fit in real life use cases, the projects that have been done with it. Now let's talk about some tips when it comes to installing and integrating this camera, especially when it comes to when it comes to pitching this camera, right? We've had obviously our partners ask through their experience installing this camera, give us a lot of positive feedback, or in general troubleshooting that we have done with them, which have been able to inform us into the real world scenarios that people run into when installing this camera. So today we want to share those tips and that we have gathered based on the feedback from you guys working in the field, and also some pitching ideas for this camera. So let's start with flexibility, right? We've been talking about this for some time now during this webinar, during our conversation. It's about flexibility with this camera, not just extreme zoom or just the PTZ function. It's the flexibility of having the PTZ function with a 4x optical zoom, but also the design, compact dome design that is very sleek and less intrusive. So the hybrid nature gives it the flexibility, and that's the feature that you want to be highlighting to your customer. And bringing it to your customer to meet their requirements and get this camera to be a successful buy for them, okay? And keep in mind, optical zoom, when it compares to digital zoom, you would say like, oh, some people would tell me like, well, every camera has digital zoom. Yes, it does. But like, I do want to, our partners and our eventually your end users, to understand that digital zoom is different from optical zoom. Optical zoom delivers high resolution and sharper photos without quality loss. But with an with a digital zoom, not optical zoom, digital zoom, you lose that sharpness of the photo. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like you can zoom in, but like it becomes more grainy. It's not that clear as it should be. And optical zoom solves that problem, okay? So that was the first thing I wanted to highlight. The second thing I think we need to be discussing about this camera with you guys so that you can discuss it with your customer is that this camera solves the problem of limited view of a fixed lens camera. Okay, so if a customer is saying to you, I wish I could look over here sometimes and sometimes here and sometimes there, but I don't want multiple cameras to do that, this is where this camera comes in and makes sense for them. Okay. And then the third point is the presets. So our recommendation to you guys with this PTZ or any PTZ that gives you the option to preset, set up presets before you leave the site. Don't just install the camera and walk away, because the biggest feature of this camera when it comes to PTZ function is the preset option. So, and most of the time, if not all the time, the customer would be wanting this camera because they want to have different views at different times. So use that feature to your advantage and use that feature to highlight the efficiency and the value of this camera and set it up for the customers. Set it up. Most common views are, just to give you some examples, to give you ideas in your head, front door, counters, cash counters, parking areas, side entrances, reception areas. So that's where generally people have like presets and they move things around. So use that as an idea to keep in mind, and use the functionality of this PTZ for presets. Okay. Fourth use case is the thing I want to highlight, tip I want to give to you guys is the use of warm light and full color capability strategically. What that means is, it's great for areas where the customer needs color detail and it's outside and there's no problem with turning the lights on, but you still want to keep camera practical for night viewing. Let's say if it's inside the building, you don't want the light to turn on because it's light pollution. You want to be like able to discuss it with your customer to see like when to turn on the lights, when to turn off the lights. You can set it on a schedule. You don't have to have it like automatically at a setting where if it gets dark, the light turns on. You can have it on a set schedule, discuss it with your customer, and see if it's appropriate to have it on a schedule or have it at all, right? It could be just IR. For example, office case that we talked about, there the customer did not want a full color at night because it's light in the office. They didn't want that. They just want the camera to be non-intrusive, right? So IR was the way to go in that project. And lastly, guys, the last tip from me, or advice or suggestion from me, would be to don't forget the built-in speaker and alarm linkage. Okay, this camera can trigger audible warnings and light flashing. So position it as a step towards active deterrence and active response, not just passive recording. Like I said, the camera comes with lights. These can do strobe lights so they can flash. As a deterrence, you can obviously talk down from the speaker. It has microphone. You can pick up audio. You can, like I said, showed to you guys before, you can attach an external speaker if you want louder sound. Use that as an active deterrence machine. So if there's an application where it's outside the building, let's say a retail store, going back to our example, where they needed to have active deterrence feature, you can do that with this camera. Okay. Next slide. Okay. All right. So we talked about this camera. We've talked in length about this camera model. Now I want to tell you what are the upgrades that we are making to this camera. Okay. So we have an upcoming model, a newer model of this camera, and we are improving this camera to bring it to the latest technology forefront, right? So the resolution stays the same. It's 4 megapixel resolution. It'll be at 30 frames per second at 1 or 1.8 inch sensor. But the biggest upgrade that we're making, or the major upgrade that we are making to this camera that I want to highlight, is the AI-based blacklight technology is now going to be available in this camera. Yes, you heard it right. Our ultra low light AI ISP blacklight technology is now available, is gonna be available in this camera. That means very, very low lux, as low as 0.0007, right? That's super low. That means you can get daytime image at night without any supplemental lights. Although the camera would come with supplemental lights, that is if it gets really pitch dark, like there's no light at all, then obviously they will turn on. But in 99% of the cases, it would not. The blacklight technology would do its magic, and you'll see ultra color night vision image through this camera. Okay, and it also will come with the latest AI model and sensor to offer the additional AI features like fault detection, and also fire and smoke detection. And the range for AI detection is also going to be longer. So I think it's going to be double of what it was now, around, I don't know, like, I don't want to give you a number, more than 65 to 70 feet. 65 feet was like, for this full color, it's going to be more than that. I think around 100 feet. But we can obviously find out for you the specific number. But it's almost double of what the existing model does. Okay. Now, so what would happen with this camera? This AI blacklight technology would make other cameras, for example, like color view cameras from Hikvision, look like dinosaur cameras. Okay. Okay. In addition to the blacklight technology, what else is happening? So it's getting auto tracking, guys. So we said it has the PTZ function. It does not have auto tracking. We heard you guys. You were asking for those features. We're introducing that in this camera now. So the upcoming model will have auto tracking. So you can keep all the good stuff from the current model and add on. But what's happening now? So you have all the good stuff from the current model, but you have the blacklight technology now and the ability to auto track with this camera. Okay. All right. So I think I have spoken a lot today. So I just want to now wrap it up by giving you this key takeaway. This camera is not trying to be your biggest PTZ. It's your compact, practical PTZ for smaller commercial projects. It gives you 4 megapixel full color video, 4x optical zoom, presets, built-in audio, and now blacklight technology and auto tracking. It has become an unbeatable proposition where you need flexibility, the sleek design of a dome, flexibility of a PTZ, and ultra low light performance. It has it all now. Okay. So if your customer needs flexibility, then this is the camera to go for, right? All the things that I talked about, flexibility with a sleek design and the PTZ capability. AI-based dome PTZ, upcoming model and the current model will do really well on that. Okay. Enough for me. I'm done with my part. Now the good stuff that you guys been waiting for is from Zach from our tech squad to show you the live demo of what this camera actually looks like. So I'm going to hand it over to Zach to give you a walkthrough. Over to you, Zach.
Yeah, thank you, Umar. So today's live demo will be for the Dome PTZ, and I'll be covering how to use the PTZ functions, how to activate the manual light and siren alarm for your deterrence, and then also cover a few different AI setups on this. So the first thing you'll see here is we are logged into our AIBASE NVR, and you can see here we're on the PTZ Dome. So the first thing, or the most important thing for this camera, is we'll open up the PTZ configuration here. And as you can see, you can change the speed of how fast you want it to pan or tilt. So it goes from 1, which is very slow, all the way up to 10. You have your manual zoom in and zoom out, and then your manual focus, and then just depending on the distance if you need a focus on a specific target. You do have a few other options here, like your PTZ to reset the lens, reset your position, autofocus it, and then also a few different modes, which is the PTZ cruise. So just like Umar mentioned previously, this does support up to 255 custom preset points, and it's very easy to set up a preset. All you need to do is just find your fixed position, then go ahead and click on add preset, and then for your point, you can just delete that and put in a custom name depending on where you want it to look. So that is very easy to do, and then we'll go ahead and demonstrate the actual PTZ here. So you can move it from left to right, you can move it down and up, and then this is just here in our showroom with all of our cameras on demo. And then if we wanted to zoom in on something, we can go ahead and do that here. So once we're zooming in, once we reach that 12 millimeter or the 4x zoom, the camera will autofocus on its own once you reach that ending point, and then we can go ahead and zoom back out, and then it'll continue to autofocus so you get a clear image. And there we go. And then here on the bottom left, you do see we have a few options. So this light bulb here is for the full color lights. You can set those up as a deterrent. So what that means is instead of the red and blue lights, since this camera does not have it, you can set up the white full color lights as a strobe. So whenever it's linked to an AI event, it can strobe and flash the white LED lights. Then you also have your siren alarm. So you can also manually activate the siren here. Both these features can be done also on the mobile app as well, once you have it connected. So that would be covering the PTZ options, zooming in and out, your presets, and then manual activation of your lights and sirens. Now we'll move into the actual camera settings itself. So if we go down into our camera here on channel 9, you can see that it does have almost all of the AI. Like our other cameras, you have your face detection, human and vehicle, which is the most used, license plate detection, perimeter, line crossing, object, and then your more advanced, which would be the statistics, your cross counting, heat maps, crowd density, queue length. One thing I would like to specify would be for crowd density. So if you're using this like in a retail store, for example, or maybe even like a small venue, you can set this camera up and have the crowd density enabled, and it'll give you a reading or number of how many people are in that specific target zone. So if we go ahead and disable human and vehicle, enable crowd density, you'll see that it will bring up a zone here. Just a second, we might have to draw it. Right now it's currently doing full screen mode. But anyways, anyone that is within this camera view, it will give you a reading, as you can see here. And you can also set the maximum number of people. So it can detect up to 500 people at a single time, as long as they obviously fit within the camera view. And then once they surpass that level, you can get notified. So in this case, we have it set for 50 people. If there was 51, we would get notified for that over counting of that area. Then again, just your other basic ones, which everyone knows about: your perimeter, your line crossing, human and vehicle, like we talked about. You can also set your AI schedule for that camera for your active hours of when you want it to be available. And then you have your alarm linkage. So you have your webhooks, which we talked about previously in our other webinars, your voice prompts, which is available on our new platform, our cloud firmware. And then you have your lights and sirens as well. So all of that can be customized within the camera. It can work fully standalone. It also supports the 256 gigabyte SD card, so it can be mounted on a pole. We have some customers who mount them on the solar trailers, so they work fully standalone by themselves. And then as far as the camera settings go, I would say that that covers everything here. And that would conclude today's demo for this camera. So we'll go ahead and take it back to Umar for our Q&A session, and then we'll back now.
Thank you, Zach. All right. So that's what we wanted to cover today. We talked about the product, and then Zach did an excellent demo for you guys. So with that, we want to now open it for our live Q&A. Please drop your questions in the chat, whether it's about the camera or you have any specific scenario you want to talk about, or you have any upcoming project and you need help discussing the needs for that and see if this camera is the right fit. Please put those questions in the chat and we'll be happy to answer. So let's go. Let's do some questions. All right. Okay, so I see right now in the chat there are not a lot of questions here. So I'm going to use this time as we do wait for you guys to shoot your questions to us. I'm going to talk about some of the common questions that people ask about, or installer partners and integrators ask about this camera. Is this a replacement? A common question is this a replacement for a regular PTZ camera? No. This is, as we talked about during our presentation, it's not a replacement for a traditional big 25x zoom or 37x zoom PTZ. It's for smaller commercial needs where the hybrid nature of the camera, a hybrid camera is required, meaning a PTZ camera in a smaller form factor. People talk about auto tracking. We talked about auto tracking. This model does not do it. We do have a model coming in. Which would do auto tracking and the blacklight technology, right? So the answer now is going to be, does it do auto track? Answer is yes, very soon. You will have a model that'll do it. Okay. All right. No questions. Looks good. Thank you for the demo. Oh, Matthew, thank you so much. We really appreciate your feedback on that. And I'm happy that you were able to find all the answers and the things that you're looking for today. Thank you so much for participating and joining us today. Okay, so it seems like, as Matthew said, I feel like we covered a lot of stuff. A couple of more questions I want to talk about before we close today. Can it be used outdoors, people ask? Even though it kind of looks like a camera that can go indoors, it can do both, indoors and outdoors. It is IP66 and IK10. So IK10 protects the dome, the glass dome, and IP66 protects the overall camera from weather, water, weather, dust, and all that kind of stuff, snow, sunshine, what have you. Another couple of common questions to cover, I believe. Does it support SD card? Yes, it does, up to 256 gigabytes. So if you don't want to add it to an NVR, you want it to function as standalone, as Zach mentioned, some of our partners have installed it on trailers, right? Solar trailers. So you do not necessarily have NVRs there. It can do its own recording, function standalone. And as I mentioned in my presentation, AI-based means AI is built into the camera, right? It's edge AI, meaning the AI is on the camera. As soon as you plug in the 256 gigabytes of SD card, add it to the app or our VMS, which are free, you can start using the AI. All the AI that I talked about comes with this camera. And last question people ask. Before I do that, let me see if someone... Oh, Brian has a question. Can we use motion on Cam A to move PTZ to preset X, motion on Cam B to preset B? Zach,
Yeah. So to answer that question, for this specific model, you won't be able to do that specific feature. But with our upcoming model, since it does support auto tracking, you will be able to set PTZ linkage from other cameras. So let's say, for example, you have two cameras. Your main fixed lens is facing the front of your store, and then you also have the dome PTZ, which is a little bit higher that can see kind of the whole front entrance. So what you can do is set up an intrusion zone or line crossing rule for camera 1, which is your fixed lens. As soon as someone enters that area or crosses the line, you can then link the PTZ to auto turn to that specific preset of where you want it to look. And then if you have the auto tracking feature enabled for that new model, it will continue to follow them until they're no longer in the view. So at this moment for this model, not available, but in our upcoming updated model, you will be able to do that.
Thank you, Zach. Great question, Brian. I hope we were able to answer this question. And guys, like generally, Brian or anyone who might come up with a question after we are done with the webinar, you can always call us. The number is on the screen. You can call your account manager if you already have an account with us, or if you don't and you want to do it, just call us and we'll be able to. We'll be happy to answer all the questions that you have. The last thing I want to cover from our FAQs is does it support audio deterrent? Yes, the camera comes in with built-in mic and speaker, and so it supports audible warning and lights flashing too, because it comes with lights. And as mentioned before in my presentation, it has those external connectors, so you can connect our AI-based IP speaker to it to get those louder warning signs if you need to and if the application requires that. Okay, Brian, good term, long term. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate your appreciation for what we're doing here. Price point, rough. We usually do not discuss pricing on our live chat. Our webinars, because this is being broadcasted everywhere. It's on our channel, and as you know, we only sell to our channel partners, our integrators and installers. We don't sell to end public at all, to end users. So we want to protect our channel with keeping the pricing undisclosed, because this right now is live on our page and anyone can join it. That could include an end user as well, right? And so we want to protect your price, we want to protect your margins, so we don't want to talk about pricing here at all, but we'll be happy to provide the information to you, Brian. I'll take it on to me to get to my team and get them to send you the price. We'll send you the price. We'll either email it to you or text you or call you to give you more information about pricing. But I hope you understand the limit. Our view on this, that we don't want to talk about pricing at all, because we want to protect you guys, our channel partners. We don't want to disclose our pricing to end user at all. But that's not our model. We work through our channel, and that's how it is. Okay. I think I've covered all the FAQs as well. We went over time. Usually we do it for like 30 minutes. We already are over time, but that's not a problem. If it's a good conversation, good discussion, we're more than happy to keep it going. You guys are making time for us. That's all that matters to us, right? If you guys are here, we're always here. We're going to stay for that. I'll give you another minute or so. If you have any other questions, please post it in the chat. We'll wait for another, okay, a minute is too long, maybe another 10-15 seconds. If there are no other questions, we will wrap this up. But obviously, feel free to call us, text us, email us, whatever is the option available to you. Whatever works for you. More than happy to help you out there. And we're looking forward to working with you and helping you with your projects. Soon we will have a chat function on our website too, just to give you a sneak peek. We will have we have a surprise coming for you guys through our website, so you'll be able to interact with us in a much faster and better way than what's available to you right now. Okay, now with that being said, I think it's time for us to close this. Thank you so much for joining us today and participating in this. We really value your time and partnership with us. Please feel free to call us and text or email us if you need help with any other questions, and we'll be happy to assist you like we always do with our partners. Have a good Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Click like, click subscribe so that you get and hit on that bell icon so that you get notified when we go live next Friday. We do it every Friday, same time. But sometimes I know things get busy. You want notification. Please subscribe to our channel. Click the like button if you appreciate what we do, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next Friday. Thank you. Bye.